Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's just take a moment of silence, shall we? Let us remember Medgar. Let us be grateful for Marley and Nina and Van and Daryl. Let us remember so many soldiers, known and unknown, who gave their lives so we might enjoy more freedom. Let's take a moment of silence. We gather here this morning, freedom fighters, all of us, believers in the universality of humankind. We are all made in God's image, and we are all entitled to be treated with dignity, to have our rights respected and protected by the government to which we swear our loyalty and pay taxes. We come here today seeking healing, seeking for that great wound in our country which was made so visible and searing when Medgar was assassinated to be fully closed. I wish it were. I wish I could stand here and say it is closed. It wasn't closed 30 years ago when our board last gathered here. It wasn't closed about 20 years ago when the murderer, the assassin of Medgar Evers, was finally put in jail 30 years too late. It's not closed now, as in a state not so far north of here, due north of here, they are preparing to go to trial with a man who has plotted to assassinate one of our local presidents. But it must be closed. Our children deserve to grow up in a country where their voting rights are protected. Our children deserve to grow up in a country where they are respected and supported no matter what race or color they are. Our children deserve to grow up in a country whose soul is healed from the scars and violence of racism and racial oppression and so many other forms of oppression that still mar our country. I cannot express to you the sense of humility. It's the humbling nature of standing in this hallowed ground before you. So many great fighters, so many people who have risked and braved so much, so many people who knew Medgar, so many people who have sacrificed in so many ways on this day, next to our Queen Mother, Ms. Marley Evers, who, while we failed in protecting her husband, she saved our movement many times. But I look at Mildred Roxborough, who was an intrepid organizer, young and as slight as she is now, dropped out of her PhD program at Columbia University, lest we don't think she had any other options, to join up and serve this movement and our greatest field general, Medgar Evers. Field secretary is insufficient. He was the man who led us on the most violent battlefield, surrounded by violent battlefields, with his full heart and his full faith and his ultimately acceptance that that may cost him his life on this planet. But when those of us are scared or frightened or acknowledge the risk that sometimes we still have to accept to do our jobs, we know there is a great field general in heaven, seated at the right hand of the Father, interceding for us Oh, I talked to Medgar a lot when I was a young organizer here, and they had just put Byron Taylor Beckwith in prison, and the Klan was threatening to kill Mr. Johnson or myself. Let me tell you. And we always had faith, Mrs. Evers, that we were safer because he was there. So I want to thank the Evers family on behalf of the NAACP for all you have given to all of us, for all you have given to this state, for all you have given to our country. We are all better, and we are all better off because of you. And it is my great esteemed honor to invite to this podium my colleague, fellow freedom fighter of 20 years now, Derek Johnson, the esteemed president of the Mississippi State Conference of the NAACP.